a lot.
Yeah, it is. Well, we had a lot of meetings there.
Yeah, we did.
And we're getting caught up on them.
Yeah.
I will comment, I like the way they're laid out, which is what we've been fighting for a long time, is to have our meetings that have more details.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate the way, and thanks to whoever laid them out this way.
If so, I'll
Okay.
entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the minutes as presented for July 20th, August 10th, and August 19th.
Second.
The properly moved and second that we adopt the approval of the minutes of July 20th, August 10th, and August 19th. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, none. I have no cards for public participation. Seeing none, Director Benedicto, welcome aboard.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Chairman Lowe. Glad to be aboard.
Section
So,
8.
Section 8. So in terms of housing choice voucher, I don't see Ms. Johnson here.
She's not.
She is.
I don't see her at the moment, but,
Yeah,
oh,
she
I'm
on-
sorry.
If you're in the corner.
Okay. I'm sorry. You were right at my listening, yeah.
That column.
What, I'd like to invite her to report.
Okay. I just want to report on our EHB program. We were allocated 95 vouchers. All vouchers have been accounted for. To date, we have 87 vouchers that were issued. Actually, we issued all of the vouchers, but we had 8 people who did not show up to pick up their vouchers. We had 2 people who actually moved into a unit, and we received 4 additional RTAs for people who have actually found a unit. We have paid on security deposits for these individuals, as well as utility arrearages for the EHB program.
Any questions?
I got a question from another source, just for clarity, because we're getting into some territory that we're unfamiliar with and helping to straighten out some of the issues that are going on with the properties that were formerly managed by ITEX. Okay, on public housing certifications, and certainly we have a lot of those. Is MHA involved in the public housing certifications, in that process at all?
Are we speaking on EHB?
No,
Or
no,
just-
we're talking about.
Oh, so we're talking something totally different. Okay. So the property managers would certify those individuals in ITEX or in the buildings who require certifications.
Okay. Second of all, on the section, those that are in these properties on Section 8 vouchers, MHA does do those recertifications. Okay. And we're just running into some situations where we're just trying to clear up, because we know on the public housing side, there is an issue. So we're just trying to find out, on the MHA, on the Section 8 side, what kind of issues exist.
Okay, we shouldn't have any issues because we don't have any delinquent recertifications.
Okay, okay,
And that be on regular Section A, RAD, or PBB,
okay.
okay?
All right, that gives me what I need.
Okay.
I have no further questions.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson.
Let me ask a question, I'm sorry.
I tried to wait.
It wasn't quick enough.
In this report, the ACV, we've got Elm Street included in
Correct.
it. Why?
Take care.
That's how they're funded. They're funded through our annual contribution contract. Before it was funded through Section 8, okay?
But they belong to
Section 8.
Section
Section 8.
But they actually funded through IACC.
But the property itself, the units
Yeah,
belong
the
to.
units have the SROs themselves,
The
right?
units belong to CAAC per se. There is such a wide, and I want to apologize and thank the folks who have been working with us in the last couple of weeks since September the 1st, because there's such a great overlap between MHA and CAAC at this point. until, you know, stronger definitions can be put into place as we work through. And so I know, some of our folks have called over here as if we were working under the same umbrella, and we're not. So today, hopefully, we will establish better lines of communications. I kind of sent something to the interim executive director, because it is not to offend anybody. You know, as people have rushed through trying to get the work done, they've just picked up the phone and made a phone call.
Right.
We ain't doing it like that. We want to make sure that the lines of communication are going through the correct protocol, because CAHC is one entity and MHA is another, even though in so many points they overlap. So we'll work on that, and yeah, my apologies if anybody has been offended by somebody picking up the phone and call, but thank you again for any help that you were able to
No
provide.
problem, no problem at all.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms.
Real
Johnson.
quick,
Anything further? All right.
Thank you.
Finance team?
Finance?
Finance, I know I saw Ms. Dawson.
Thank
There
you.
she is.
Um,
Tamara, if you will,
I was hoping you guys would give me to next month, because
Okay.
Andy did the finance report.
Say that again.
I just got a chance to look at them. Andy did the finance reports for August.
Uh-huh.
So he didn't send them to me, so I do apologize.
Who is he?
Andy.
Andy,
Turn that
yes.
hearing aid up there.
But I will say, I think the numbers are pretty much.
But what did
the
you
same
send
as-
us? I thought you sent us a report.
You did get a report.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was from Andy.
Mhm.
Andy,
All right.
before he left,
Right.
he processed the financials, okay? So, those are kind of his numbers, but from what I can tell, it's pretty lateral versus from July, so. Unless you guys saw something, I can answer some questions if you have
Yeah, I
any.
mean, everything's reconciled.
If you have any questions, I can answer those.
No, I mean, everything's reconciled. And,
Yeah.
I mean, that's why the books
Yeah.
came out, so.
Everything is good.
I do have, and I know this is not for you, but it is a financial question. Looking at the finance report,
Mhm.
Elm Street was extensively expensive. If you look at the budget on that financial report.
Because they had was it a light bill? It was a light bill. And you know, during COVID,
Right.
they was allowing residents, exactly.
To stay there.
And we wasn't getting that bill for
Okay.
one.
Okay,
And it was like $20-some thousand dollars,
okay.
but it was over the course of a year.
Oh,
So that's what happened, Chairman Moore. But we're good, and I didn't want to chop that bill up. I wanted to go ahead and pay them full
yeah.
Mhm.
and just start clean,
Keep it, okay.
okay?
I was wondering
But
why.
they're not in a negative,
Okay.
I wonder why it shot up like that.
that's what happened.
So what's the status of that IRS? Did you get a chance?
I did,
Okay.
I sent it certified yesterday,
Mhm.
Oh,
so
okay.
let's just pray.
To see what comes back. All right. And the auditor, that's still out for bid, right?
Is it?
No,
It's not?
no, it was two companies who applied.
Okay.
It's whether or not we want to accept it or put it back out there. If we accept it, we have to score them and name one.
When is that gonna come up for discussion? Because we still, it's not on the agenda today.
But, yeah, it-
And the thing about it is, the longer we wait,
Yes.
the more,
Behind the-
we're the more behind, because we're still working on past,
Yes.
audits that are still, so is, when we, if the agenda needs to be modified for it to come up today, then we need to take a look at that, so we can move this forward.
Well, I don't have the companies in front of me, I mean, and I know it's a sense of urgency that, I had wanted to take care of it during our annual meeting, but I'll defer to the body.
Oh, that's October, no. We still don't have the 2020, right?
2019.
That's what we're working on. That's
No, I
what,
thought-
no,
no, we
that's
have-
what
No,
needs to be.
2020, we have 2019,
Well,
right?
it's not finalized.
Right,
So we're, okay,
I mean,
2019.
BKD didn't finalize.
Right, And what's the whole up with that?
I think, is it something, Chairman Lloyd, you need to, I don't know, I know finance, we're done. There's
What?
no adjustments,
Right.
nothing we need to do. It's just that final step.
But that final step was for internal controls and for.
To address those issues that
yeah,
was in
BKD,
that
like
those
that.
findings.
Right.
Yeah, and I think
Right.
we did that.
Have we
We
sent
did a
it?
corrective action.
Okay. And
Yeah,
what-
but the board never saw it.
All right,
We never saw the corrective action plan.
okay.
Yeah, I know Andy was in charge of it.
Yeah,
Well, but where, do you have access to?
Oh, yeah, I can
Okay.
get that from
Yeah, we need
BKD.
to.
I can,
Correct.
We need to look at that ASAP.
Okay, Commissioner.
And then,
And we'll score those two
Okay.
bid, or either we can put it out to bid, or back out to bid.
well, without knowing and having seen them,
we need to look at it.
yeah, we need to
We
look
need
at
to
it.
look at it. How we gonna do that?
yeah, I can get, I
That's
think
not a
BKD,
problem.
yeah, BKD should have a copy about it.
Mm-hmm.
Say again?
BKD should have a copy to
They
send
talk,
to
they
me.
talk, they talk about the two perspectives.
No, we talking
Oh,
about
the
the
two-
two, yeah,
the
to
two
get on
auditors
the
bid, okay.
19, yeah.
Yeah, I can send that to everybody else.
And then can we do that over the phone or whatever? Talk about it. how we-
No.
No, that has to be
Well,
done.
No, we got to
here.
score it.
Yeah,
We
we
got
have
to
to score it
literally-
and discuss it, vote upon it.
Sir, then it looks like we need to meet before, because we need to move this forward.
Yeah.
We need to
Been
move
sitting
this
on
forward.
it
Too long.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you, are you just satisfied with two?
I mean, if that's all we got at this particular time.
I
I
not
think
haven't seen the information on the
Yeah.
two we got.
We need to look at it.
We need to look at it.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then we'll get together.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
All right.
thank you, Mr.
ASAP. No.
Anything else?
Yes.
Nah, damn.
Yeah, well, I do have something.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Uh-huh.
The audit of our contracts. We've been trying to get a list of every contract that is out there.
Okay,
And we don't know what's,
What is what or who is where.
Yeah, that's something. I know we talked about it last week, and I asked you just give me a little time, and I'm gonna work on that. Because Kedrick and I was talking about some of the contracts that are expired.
yeah, and see, there's been no extension done on
No,
those.
that's
And
correct.
we got all kinds of CFR violations, and what, the CFR calls for is an internal control that brings those up for quality, look-see within 90 days. And that practice has never been institutionalized. We got quality, we got the forms, I think, 1 month on one entity, and I think that was on the pest control folk.
Mhm.
But we need some consistency coming from contracts and procurement that just has not existed. So, we provided, the entire CFR, and I know we still have the procurement plan that's coming up on the agenda today, but, HUD makes real clear how that process should roll out. And we just have never gotten those things that need to happen, and so we just gonna turn it back over to you again. And we know that you've got
I
a,
will take, yeah,
I
we'll
need to
get a
put one more
plan.
thing on your plate. Those contracts that have expired, but we are sending a remittance fee each month,
my,
such as Timax and those other entities, that we're paying a user fee. If you could provide that to us.
Okay. I sure will. Okay.
No, ma'am.
no, ma'am.
thank you. Legal.
But legal, Director Benedicto did procure an attorney to address the Madison Heights situation. From the other cases, there hadn't been any update, particularly the Marshall Nash case, there's been no update. And those are the two outstanding legal issues that we have on board.
Okay.
For procurement, so, of course, Ms. Jada is on leave.
Mhm.
She will be returning, I believe, on Monday, and should have a report for you all next month with regards to this. But I have noted the list of contracts that you all are needing, and the two companies, and so I'm keeping a list on that.
Well, in addition to that, with the approval of the new procurement policy, that should be communicated to not only the field office, but to Mr. Jacobson as well, because they were told that, you know, we had been reviewing it, and I just like for them to know that it's been updated to 2 CFR 200.
Okay. Noted, Chairman Lowe. In terms of development.
Yeah, development, if you want to wait, I'll let them go ahead, we want to give our committee reports.
Let's give our committee reports.
All right, we'll bump development down. Ms. Anthony?
The only piece that we've got going is the contract that we need to handle today for our interim ED. And certainly we can do that in executive session as we review the contract, if there's any questions or anything else that needs to come up under there. But at this point, that, and then there is the issue of the fulfillment of the position with the Director of Finance. That was a recommendation for that piece that really has to come through the interim ED in order for that too to be proposed. So that's the only two pieces that we have for discussion.
Well, I don't have anything to report. Kendrick did send out the technical specs for the 2 kiosks. But I do have a question, and correct me if I'm wrong, the purchase of those kiosks was supposed to come from the CARES Act money.
Right.
Okay.
That money was supposed to have been set aside.
Do we know what the balance of the CARES Act funds that we got remaining?
It is in the,
Finance
it's in
report.
the financial report.
Okay.
Because they were estimated to be, what, $50,000 a piece?
It's $100,000. It's two. Is that right?
Yes, two.
Mm-hmm.
Did the earth come on in here?
Mm-hmm.
Feels like.
I feel it.
It's on page, page 4. Page
Now.
5, the 5th page.
Keep going. There it is, right there.
Okay. Okay. Okay, yeah, no, if they're $25,000 a piece, and that $50,000 is still sitting there in reserve. Okay.
We'll move right along.
So, with.
Commissioner Lindsey?
Yes, with the kiosk, we proposed to put those in the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
That hallway needs to be modified. It's already tight with 2 machines in there. It needs, just needs to make, I think that the clients are stepping over each other as it is.
Well, let me take a point of privilege.
Okay.
Looking at the specs, a lot of those forms will be loaded onto that kiosk.
So they won't be there.
Yeah. and a
Those
lot-
tables and stuff will
Yeah,
not be
right,
there.
Right, a lot of those forms will be loaded up. Now, correct me, Mr. Jones, if I'm wrong now.
Yes, sir.
A lot of those forms will be loaded on that kiosk, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that'll clear up a lot of space out there.
So we think that it's gonna be adequate for 2 kiosks?
When I did the measurements, it was.
Say again?
I did the measurements, it was.
See, that'd get rid of a lot of that paper out there.
Yes,
Is that
Lord.
right? Okay. I stand corrected? All right.
Are we done?
Yes, sir.
All right. Um,
No, Mr. Jackson's not here.
No, he's not here.
Yeah,
I want to put one more thing on Ms. Dawson's plate, that if she could give us the balance of any reserve account that we may have, such as COCC or any reserve account that we may have,
Okay,
to have the balance.
okay. I can do that.
Because it's getting close to budget time,
Mhm.
and we just like to be prepared. Anything further? All right, Gorman, you're up.
Anyone from Gorman?
Hello, hello. I don't see anybody.
No.
Going once?
They come back on. All right, iTex, you're up. Hello.
Hi, Chairman Lowe, Miranda with ISAC. I'm not sure what update you're needing at this point. We did respond to Ron Bell on Tuesday, and we did get President Anthony's letter yesterday evening. We'll respond to that as well, but I'm not sure. Does the board have any questions for me?
There are, we want to be real clear that the property management piece and the RAD deal are two separate
Two
pieces.
separate things.
And the expenses that have to do with property management will be settled as property management expense. Anything pertaining to RAD will be settled as RAD deals. We did get some responses in talking to the attorneys. We are going to have a discussion during the CAAC meeting on what the feedback has been, and we will comment back to ITEX through the attorneys. But again, we do have some concerns over the property management piece. I've just given to Attorney Eddings the document from the Attorney General's office, which is of greatest concern on the tenant, Mr. Lewis, that filed a complaint while it was still under ITEX. And like a lot of other things, we're just sorting through and finding things in the building. But this is when I talked to Daniel Pace at the Attorney General's office, and this thing is more than 2 months old by the time we took over. So it may be something that ITEX really needs to take a look at. There should be other copies in your possession, because this was the last one that they sent to the office. But it is an issue with a client who had not been recertified in public housing since 2019. And that's an issue, as I shared earlier, we have with a lot of the clients is their certification date. So there have been subsidies that have been lost, and there are clients who are in jeopardy, if you will, of possibly losing their funding. So there is some major issues that, again, comes under the property management piece and not under the RAD deal piece that needs serious discussion. And we need to, I'm going to ask Attorney Eddings to kind of go over this, but this, to me, is not our deal. It's a complaint that should have been cleared up under ITEX. But Miranda, I appreciate the fact that you have stepped forward in a lot of these instances to boldly have the conversations with us that no one else has really stepped up to have. So we do appreciate you setting up calls and being at the forefront of a lot of our questions and issues. But again, we will be communicating through our attorney as far as the RAD deal is concerned, and we will continue to try to communicate with all of you on the issues of the property management piece and the concerns we have, because they are many.
So in regards to the property management piece, which is most of what you just relayed here, property management does have received your letter, so we will respond. And in regards to the development, yes, we will continue to work through conversations with Ron Bell at Coach Road. I believe we're expecting a response from him at any point now, so we'll await that. And I guess that it's best addresses what we just, talked about here. Things are going to be responded to basically on both ends. And yes, management and the RAD conversion are two different things. And we can keep them as such, as we're doing so right now with the different modes of communication.
Right. There will be another issue that we will be adding to our concerns that we will document and send to you as soon as possible on the property management side.
Okay, we'll await that.
Anything else? All right, Miranda, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Anybody from Gorman on the line? I don't see.
Design group.
Mr. Jackson? I thought I saw him back there.
Good afternoon, sir.
Oh, he's up there. You're up.
Good morning. We don't necessarily have a specific update as it relates to communications. However, there are some current deliverables that we are working through. One that's been outstanding for quite some time, and that's the state of the MHA website. At one point, we were authorized to move forward based on our site map and website design. That then was kind of left in a holding pattern after some management changes with Dr. Jarman. And then as of late, we were working to try to schedule some time to get in front of the interim executive director to present our website and website recommendations in an effort to move that forward. That's since been put on hold again. So we would like to get some direction from this body and maybe ultimately our current new interim director. Do we continue to just stay on hold, or do we try to schedule some time to present our website design in an effort to move that forward? We had gotten as far down the field with the effort as having a document executed that would have been signed off by Dr. Jarman at one point to pretty much authorize us to move forward and allocate those resources. We're kind of in flux there. That's one agenda item. Two, we are currently updating or have updated the MHA website and the slider in a prominent position, as well as a link on the home page, the search and job description for a permanent executive director. And we are currently developing a communications plan that we will present to Chairman Lowe in an effort to recruit some interest of talent across the state and potentially across the country to apply for the position. Are there any questions that you might have for me as it relates to what I've shared?
Any questions from the board?
Mr. Jackson, you're asking for directives from the board on the MHA website?
well.
Yes, ma'am. The MHU board just, some direction in terms of how we would like to proceed. Would it be appropriate for us to revisit a presentation to bring everyone up to speed? Again, on the site map and the design? Or is that something we should simply park and revisit once we get a permanent ED?
I think that, you know, within the next 90 days, we should be able to manage to get through the website process. So I'm going to ask the board and the interim to allow you to come in and give us that presentation again to freshen our memory of what's on the table before us.
Do we also want to go ahead and then give the Director Benedicto the authority to go ahead and move forward?
Yes, yes. And giving the interim the ability to move forward with you, Mr. Jackson.
Director Benedicto, good afternoon, and congratulations again.
Thank you, thank you.
I will have myself and my team members to reach out to you in an effort to get on your calendar. I certainly understand you're probably being inundated with meeting requests and things of that nature, but we'll try to get on the list and schedule a time to potentially present the website specifics to you, and then based on your comfort, we can then represent to the board as well, or we can do that in one simultaneous meeting, however you guys decide.
Thank you.
Question, Mr. Jackson,
Yes, sir.
how often is maintenance performed on certain sections of the website? And the reason I ask that bid opportunities page, and I know you would get your directions from MHA, that page has not been cleaned up in quite a while. That's one with all the RFPs out there on it.
Yes, sir. In terms of routine back-end website maintenance, we work through that monthly. Content on the website, to your point, was always directed from the MHA side, in particular at the time, Jada Johnson. So I'm not sure exactly what her schedule is and was. However, if there's anything that we can do to update that, we simply just need to be directed, and we can make those updates as frequent as MHA would like.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Anything else? We appreciate you, Mr. Jackson.
Yes, sir. Thank you much.
This is the fastest meeting we've had.
Moving right along.
Director Benedicto, resolution 6787. We trying to find out where that is coming from.
I got it. It is from Bill's invoice. It is in the back.
From who?
Bill's lot
Oh, okay.
for
okay,
the,
okay. Is that all?
Yeah, and it
Okay.
was only in the amount of $141.
Okay.
Just a question. I know,
Mhm.
Tam, we've got a couple more out, and I know that you've gotten the invoice. Would it be more cost effective if we table this and amended it to carry all of those charges
Forward.
for next month, rather than, you know, us to-
Piecemeal,
rather
right.
than piecing it?
Since this one is so small.
Yeah, yeah. So, with the board's approval, Director Benedicto, I'd like to ask that we table this resolution for the movement of funds, because I would also think that there's also gonna be some time sharing of employees that also would need to be a part of this. Because we have utilized Kedrick, we have utilized you. So, we know that, we've been making phone calls and that kind of stuff, and I think we might have even bothered, Director Johnson, had their time tied up. So, I think there are some adjustments here. So if we can do that and look at not only the physical money, but also look at the time sharing of employees.
Second.
So,
That was the motion.
That was motion.
Until,
Hmm?
until,
the next meeting.
Next meeting,
okay. It's been moved and probably second that we table resolution 6787 until the next meeting. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, none. Preview has sent out the updated procurement policies, so are there any questions, concerns?
No, I just think that, you know, as we look at, procurement has been one of the major issues that has been discussed on a whole lot of fronts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for the agency, what it cost us, and again, Mr. Delaney did a great job of laying out some information on some points of where we needed to be more careful. The CFR is real clear
Mm-hmm.
of those internal controls that once they're in place, they keep us from going over in any contract.
Right.
It tells us when contracts are due. It gives us an opportunity to review the quality of the service we've been receiving. And for us, Director, it is a matter of the policy being executed. A lot of times we are charged with interfering with the day-to-day operations of the board, of the staff.
Mm-hmm.
Where our policies are in place, if we write the policy, there is monitoring and oversight that gives us the ability to review those policies and to address those deficiencies with you as to what's going on, particularly with that piece. And again, this one has been an ongoing battle for the procurement department.
Mhm.
We just like to see some resolve. Now, whether you'll be able to do that in 90 days is gonna be something to behold. But it is one of those things that keeps popping up as a major issue for the agency in just having a clear-cut procurement process where we're getting what we need in order to approve contracts. So,
But see, not only that, certain things below that small purchase threshold or micro purchases, even though that does not have to be a formal bid, there still has to be documentation for those independent cost estimates. And that's why I'm so heavily on computerizing our records so that no matter who sits in that seat, the agency moves forward and we can continue to do the business. But that documentation needs to be there for that independent cost estimate for those micro purchases, small purchases. Because we know that anything over with the new, once we approve the new CFR, anything over 3,000 and less than 150,000 has to go out for a formal bid. What? Do I hear a motion?
motion to approve resolution 6788 pertaining to the procurement policy update.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second that we adopt the procurement policy update, resolution 6788. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, none. Motion passes. Do I hear a motion for executive session?
So,
For the purpose of personnel
For
matters.
further personnel matters.
Second.
Been moved and probably second that we go into executive session to discuss personnel matter. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All
It's
opposed?
so good to see you.
We are in executive session.
As they say, we got a whip for you.
what was this first?
According to Daniel Pace, he said that that's CACA stuff. This is, that's the, this is.
Can you send me a copy of that Attorney General's complaint?
Oh, yeah, this client, put that to go. This client, again, is a resident of Legacy. And he has not been recertified, and doing recertification, they would have told him about his rent increases or decreases. They would have did validation how much he was making in order to make, whatever subsidy he was entitled to. They did not, and evidently they hit him all of a sudden and tried to collect some additional money, from him and, yeah, scientific. But, I sent you a copy, did you get my letter that I sent?
The one you
you?
sent this morning?
Yeah, but we
That's,
also,
that's what you're referring to this?
yeah, well, not only that,
Yeah,
we've
yeah,
got,
but
we
you got a
got,
bunch of other stuff to do.
there were,
The recertification issue that
oh
was mentioned in
God,
there.
is there 33 folks that have not been recertified. See, when they start talking about money lost,
Yeah, that has to do with the public housing
and you
part.
just don't understand the problem.
Right.
I invite you out. We've had the police out. We've had Kevin Howard out with the city housing because it's that bad. We have a situation out at Legacy
Oh,
where they were.
Rita, I think there's some maybe captured.
Go ahead and do that, and we'll
Where they were taking cash.